Alabama, June the 5th, my son Eric's birthday. Happy birthday, son. Come on up and visit Dinosaur Adventureland. Tonight we're going to talk about the Big Bang again. It is a big lie. This is episode number 6. We've given 5 different things about the Big Bang that cannot possibly be true. You guys still believe it, though. I'm going to give you number 6 and then 7, 8, 9, 10. There's no evidence for it at all, guys. None. We'll talk about that in a minute. Things spin. You ever notice? The world is spinning. Pretty cool. Bicycle wheels spin. You know, when you learn to ride your bike, if you get going fast enough, you can let go of the handlebars because each wheel acts like a gyroscope, and it's very difficult to turn. The laws of centrifugal force, centripetal force, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Let's get into the story here. We're the folks who believe the Bible is true. God ought to get the glory for His creation. And we're on Rumble at Kent Hovind Official, on YouTube at Genesis Baptist Church, our church here, on Odyssey, and Facebook, and a whole bunch of other places. Now, when was this, Kevin, who are you? Joe, maybe 6 months ago, they changed it where you have to actually click the live button to see the latest one.
When we started streaming with Restream.
When we started doing Restream, that happened. So
it shows up as a live premiere, not...
Okay. Anyway, click all the buttons till it works. Okay, do whatever you got to do. All right. We believe the Bible is true. All Scripture is given by inspiration of God. We want to strengthen your faith in the Word of God. And if you're not saved, we want to get you saved. Guy called me today. He said, Brother Hovind, I've been wondering about this. I've been Church of Christ all my life. They say they're the only ones that are right. I got baptized when I was 5. Led him to the Lord over the phone. Led a guy to the Lord last night. I love that. People call me 855-BIG-DINO. I'll explain how to go to heaven. So, let's see. And if you're saved and you're not doing much for the Lord, we're going to try to make you uncomfortable. Fair enough? You know where we're going. All right. You can help support us for free. Help us, we can stay open for free. Support us on the 777 Club. Say, I like what you're doing. Make any checks to Dr. Dino or to CSE, but call the office. We're having a little trouble right now. Should be resolved in the next week with some of the funds being redirected where they don't go. So don't do.
Have new links.
There's a new link.
New links will be up tomorrow.
Be up tomorrow. Okay, on PayPal.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so drdino.com is our website. All the stuff is posted on there. No super chat. Is that fixed yet? YouTube? Still not fixed. Don't do super chats on YouTube. Okay. Our ministry, Creation, Science, Evangelism. Make any checks that way. That's all we need. Okay. Get our video series on Science in the Bible, 18 hours, and $50 for the whole thing. You can watch it, copy it, return it, get your money back, minus shipping. Can't beat a deal like that. I tell people I used to loan my videos out. I learned right away. Baptists don't steal, but they borrow and never return. Yeah, it works out the same cost for me. So get the video series. Come visit Dinosaur Adventureland. Perfect place to bring your scout group. There we go, DAL, spelled out with the vehicles. We give tours of this place all the time. 16 lakes and ponds for fishing and swimming. It's just amazing. Our science center is pretty cool. Okay, there's a war going on, a long war against God. Henry Morris wrote a fabulous book on that. 2 different covers. It's the same book. They just redid the cover. The thing spinning thing just bit my finger. Hang on. There. Okay. Long war going on. In Psalms chapter 8, David said, O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth, who has set thy glory above the heavens. Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings hast thou ordained strength because of thine enemies, that thou mightest still the enemy and the avenger, when I consider thy heavens. I would encourage you, take time, sometime in your life, and just go out, shut off your phone, and go sit out and watch the stars. When you consider the heavens, it does something internally. When I consider the heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon, the stars which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him? You're going to say, Lord, I'm pretty tiny, aren't I? I'm not such hot stuff, am I, Lord? Do you really, really believe nobody made this? You atheists, I don't understand. There's got to be several levels of stupid, and you're approaching the top level, okay? There has to be a designer. So we're going to talk tonight about the fact that the planets spin. The atoms spin. The galaxies spin. Everything is spinning. Now, hold on. How did it get started spinning? From a big bang with radial motion away from the center? Is that? I want you to stop and think, really think. Now, Goebbels said, if you tell a lie big enough, keep repeating it, people will believe it. Hitler said, people are more likely to believe a big lie than a small one. He said, easily fall victim to a big lie. The Big Bang is the biggest lie in the history of the world, in my humble, totally unbiased and correct opinion. Okay. Big Bang Theory. Here we go. Big Bang. The cosmos. What are they? Started off right here. Number one. The cosmos goes through a super fast inflation, expanding from the size of an atom. You know how small that is? If you took a cube of salt, shake a cube of salt out of your salt shaker, look at it. If you expanded that to the size of the Empire State Building, the molecules of salt, sodium chloride, the halite crystals, I'm sorry, the sodium and chlorine atoms, would just then become as big as the original grain of salt. How many grains of salt could you stack up to make the Empire State Building? That's how many atoms are on the side of one grain of salt. And you want to put the whole universe in that dot. Hello, is anybody home upstairs? Yeah. Don't let mommy give you anything sharp, okay? The cosmos goes through super fast inflation, expanding from the size of an atom to that of a grapefruit in a tiny fraction of a second. Whoa. Then what happened? Oh, 2 billion years ago, here it is, number 6. Gravity makes hydrogen and helium gas coalesce to form giant clouds. Stop and think about that. Everything's expanding away, but gravity of these tiny particles is going to make it get back together while they're trillions of miles apart. Do you ever stop and think about what you were taught? Gravity will make it coalesce to form clouds that will become galaxies. Smaller clumps of gas collapse to form the first stars. Do you people really believe? In my humble opinion, this whole Big Bang Theory is a giant pile of pastel de vaca. Yeah. Okay. Big Bang. Time existed before the Big Bang. Well, now that's interesting. For how long? The other side of the Big Bang. What would the other side of a Big Bang look like? I don't know. Man, it's got to be good. How to think about the Big Bang. Oh, you got to be taught how to think about it, yeah. That is the lie. That's the big lie. This whole Big Bang Theory is stupid. Real stupid, okay? First stars appeared. What? 300 or 400 or 500 million years ago, the stars appeared? So after the Big Bang, for 500 million years, particles are spreading out at the speed of light. And then early galaxies appeared about 1 billion years ago. How about this one? Nothingness has friction, and the fastest spinning object ever made could measure it. You're going to measure the friction of nothingness. Who was that guy in the debate? He said there's 2 different kinds of nothing. He probably got a degree. Let's see. Scientists have created the fastest spinning object ever made, taking them a big step closer to being able to measure the mysterious quantum forces at play inside nothingness. I didn't write this. I'm just showing you what they're trying to teach our kids. Record-breaking object in question is a tiny piece of silica capable of whipping around billions of times every second. Wow. The science of nothingness is quickly becoming a big deal in physics as we strive to understand how the universe operates at its very foundations. What did you study at University of California? Nothing. For 4 years? No, for 4 years, then undergrad, then 4 more years for my PhD. Yeah, first you get a BS, we all know what that is. Then you get MS, that's more of the same. And then you get a PhD, that's piled higher and deeper, okay? So you have a PhD in nothingness. Yes, I'm so proud. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. So what is the Big Bang Theory? The Big Bang Theory is our best guess about how the universe began. See, you're not allowed to include God as an option. You got to find a scientific answer that doesn't have God in it, and they'll take it. The Big Bang Theory is the leading explanation for how the universe began. Simply put, it says the universe, as we know it, started from an infinitely hot and dense point, single point, that inflated and stretched, first at unimaginable speeds, and then at a more measurable rate over the next 0.772, guys, come on, get it right, billion years to the still expanding cosmos that we know today. So let's see, nothing exploded, the stars appeared, and then the galaxies developed, and here we are. Oh. Are the kids taught this in the public schools every day? Is this the kind of stuff they face? Okay. When exactly was the Big Bang? Big Bang was the moment 13.8 billion years ago when the universe began as a tiny, dense fireball that exploded. Really? And you believe that? Okay. Most astronomers use the Big Bang theory to explain how the universe began. What caused this explosion in the first place is still a mystery. See what they're doing here? They're getting the students to already accept the first three lies. And now let's focus on what caused it. First of all, let's back up. Did it happen? What exploded? Where did the energy come from? Where did the laws of physics come from that govern this universe? Where did time come from? Where did space come from? It banged into what? Was space already there? Or did space grow with it? In which case, what's on the other side of the line where the space stops? This dumb theory has been taught in nearly every public school, university, museum, and science center in the world for nearly 100 years. I think it's time to stop. It's dumb, guys. Give it up, okay? A Belgian priest named Georges Lemaitre suggested the Big Bang Theory in the 1920s, so it's been around 100 years. He theorized that the universe began from a single primordial atom. National Pornographic. You really, really believe it all started just from an atom. After the war, he studied theoretical physics. 1923, was ordained as an abbé. He was a mathematician and a cosmologist. He established that the universe is expanding because space is stretching. Now, he didn't establish that. He noticed the stars have a red shift. How many of you have ever been in your car by the train track when the train's coming by and you hear the sound of the train and it changes pitch when it goes past you? On the way in, it's compressing the sound wave. It drops when it goes past you. That's called the Doppler effect. Lemaitre noticed the stars are giving a red shift. He said, wow, that means the light from the star, which gives off the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, the star must be leaving because the spectrum line is shifted over toward the red of the rainbow. Oh, if a star was coming toward us, it would compress the light waves and give a blue shift. He's probably right. I'm not going to argue about that at all. But then he said, because these stars are giving a red shift, that proves they're moving away. I believe that's reasonable. Therefore, if we extrapolate back in time, everything came from a dot. Oh, no, that's not reasonable. 17 times the Bible says God stretched out the heavens. The Bible says God made the earth first, then he made the stars, then he stretched them out. So they're given a red shift because God stretched them out. They're still moving. Not because they began from a big bang. See, Christians have long worshiped at the cross, right? Atheist symbol of worship starts with a T as well, only their symbol is time. In the evolution religion, time can accomplish anything. Oh, holy time, you can fix it. See, if you kiss a frog and it turns to a prince, we know it's a childish fairy tale, right? How many of you girls ever tried kissing a frog to turn it into a prince? Rex, I believe you, okay. That turns into the Pransome Hints, okay. If you wait billions of years and the frog turns to a prince, we now call that modern science. See, boys and girls, there we are, the frog and the prince. The new super duper high powered magic ingredient to turn the frog to the prince is now, it's not a kiss, time. Billions of years. Oh, almighty time. You can do anything. You can make all the matter in the universe come from a dot of nothing. Yeah. Time is the evolutionist pacifier. Sorry, baby, I know you need lots of time for your religion to work. There's not enough time. Plus, there's another serious problem you don't hear the atheist talking about with a reasonable solution. Everything is spinning. What? Atoms are spinning. Molecules are spinning. Planets are spinning. Moons are spinning. The galaxies are spinning. Huh. Well, let's see what this guy has to say about it here. All right, let's see. Over here.
You're spinning, and I'm spinning, and the earth is spinning, and the sun is spinning, and the solar system is spinning. Everything is spinning. But why? Hey everybody, thank you for watching D-News Today. I'm Trace. You might remember from our How Fast is the Universe Moving video that you are moving really fast right now. For example, the Earth is rotating around its axis at 1,040 miles an hour. Planets rotate. That's what they do, right? But then science comes along and is all like, why? And once you start thinking about it, it's actually pretty staggering. To figure it out, we have to go back to the beginning. 4.5 billion years ago, our solar system...
I didn't touch it. Somebody found a way to shut him up. Wow. Anyway, well, let's skip this guy. You can watch it for yourself. I think all scientists agree everything is spinning. So I have a question. If everything is spinning around, this creates a problem. If we look back to the origin of our solar system, this is from his YouTube channel, roughly 4.5 billion years ago, it all began as one messy cloud of helium and hydrogen gas. Scientists suspect a supernova or some other force caused the gases to unite and start to compress. Has anybody ever seen a cloud compress into a solid? The law of angular momentum. You know, momentum, something's moving and wants to keep moving unless it's acted upon by an outside force. Angular momentum means going in a circle. Dictates that everything in a system rotates in the same direction. Keep an eye on that. In the case of the Milky Way, it is counterclockwise. How do you tell clockwise on a digital watch? Never mind, okay. When looking at the Earth from the orientation that the North Pole is north and the South Pole is south. Okay. So this guy, right here, says, as that formless mass of gas that would become our solar system continue to compress and rotate. So these molecules of gas are going to compress themselves into a solid. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you atheists believe? It became disc-shaped with the sun in the middle, planets and asteroids rotating around that central axis. We see this form repeating all over the universe, from hurricanes to water spinning down a drain. Hey, pull the plug on your bathtub and watch the water. It always spins the same way. Because we're north of the equator. If you were south of the equator, it would spin the other way. What? Oh yeah, Coriolis effect. Google that one. Anyway, because of preservation of angular momentum, the Coriolis effect, and well, physics. All the planets in our solar system rotate counterclockwise except for Venus. Scientists aren't sure why, but they have some theories. Either it flipped on its axis. Stop right there. Hold on a minute. I'll tell you what. Get a bicycle wheel, get it spinning, and try to flip it over. It resists. It would take enormous force just to flip a bicycle wheel over. You want to flip a planet over? No way. Okay, this is dreaming. Let's see. So either it flipped on its axis, which is, kids, don't you believe that for 1 second. And if you have to answer this on a test at school, you should say, the textbook says, blah, blah, blah. However, this is pastel de vaca. No. It flipped on its axis. No. Or it started counterclockwise, slowed down, and started going the other way. What would it take to get a planet that is spinning? How much energy, how many football players would it take to slow it down and get it going the other way? Tell you what, put a Sherman tank on a big carousel that let it spin. It's perfectly frictionless. How many guys would it take to push that just to get a Sherman tank spinning? That'd be difficult, wouldn't it? And you want to do this to the whole solar system, or to a whole planet. Put me back up there, brother. Okay. Or it started clockwise, let's see. But it all comes to inertia and lack of friction in space, why things continue to rotate. The original angular momentum from a supernova, or whatever other force set the cloud of gas rotating billions of years ago, is why everything rotates around the sun. The early universe was born spinning. So you got a choice here to make, guys. Was your dot the size of an atom? Was that spinning? And then when it exploded, all the fragments maintained their spinning, because everything is spinning. So either the initial dot was spinning, or everything picked up a spin later. I don't think there's another choice, is there? Okay. Everything in the universe moves and spins, from small asteroids to entire galaxies. I agree. The origin of that spin can be traced back to the very beginning of time. Every object in the universe spins. The origin of that spin can be traced back to the beginning. Spiral galaxies, like the pinwheel galaxy, have been used in the science experiments. Okay. Where does all the spin come from? That's a good question. The Big Bang? Did that create the spin? You guys claim that creates the red shift with the particles moving away. How did the particles then get together to make a star? You really believe gravity is going to do that? Let's see. The formation of star clusters and galaxies is due to fluctuations in the density of cosmic matter and gravity's pull. The fact that all these objects are spinning is due to the conservation of angular momentum. I understand. I taught physical science for 15 years. I can handle that topic, okay? If you put a bunch of kids on the merry-go-round and get it spinning, okay, now pay attention. If a spinning object breaks apart in a frictionless environment, the fragments that fly off will all spin the same direction. See, the outside is going faster than the inside. Are this kid's feet going faster than the head? Yeah. So if the kid flies off, the kid flying off because the feet are going faster, the kid will fly off the merry-go-round and will spin the same direction the merry-go-round was spinning. The kid will be spinning the same direction, in this case counterclockwise, viewed from the top. The feet are moving faster than the head, it's further from the center. If a spinning object expands, it slows down. If it contracts, it speeds up. How many have ever seen ice skaters or roller skaters do that? Spin, or when you're diving. I was lifeguard for a couple summers. When you're doing a flip off the high dive, the tighter you tuck, the faster you spin, right? So hold it. So all of the universe is spinning, which means if we shrink it back to the size of this atom, it had to be spinning a whole lot faster. Because as it expanded, the spin slowed down. Now think about it, guys. Just try to think for a minute. All this energy has to be conserved, conservation of angular momentum. All the energy of all the spinning objects in the universe was in that dot. Not only was all the matter in there, all the energy, all the angular momentum was in there, and all the heat. What's the total heat of all the stars? A whole bunch. That was all in that dot. Keep in mind, they've already used up a bunch. They've burned it for the last 13.772 billion years. So that's got to be in there too. If you get a bunch of football players to get the kids on the merry-go-round, get it spinning. They're going to start off in phase 1. Come on, go faster, go faster. You get up to 30 miles an hour, you enter phase 2. They stop screaming. They just quietly concentrate on trying to hang on for dear life. When you get up to 60 miles an hour, you enter phase 3, where they start screaming again. Only now they're screaming, stop, 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 don't stop, keep going. When you get to 100 miles an hour, you'll enter phase 4, where the kids begin to fly off the merry-go-round. Now here's where you notice something interesting in physics. When the kid flies off the merry-go-round, he's spinning the same direction as the merry-go-round was, until he encounters resistance, like a tree or telephone pole. Okay. This is known as the conservation of angular momentum. If a spinning object breaks apart, the fragments spin the same direction. Now stay with me here. Angular momentum would have caused the sun to spin very rapidly. Actually, our sun spins very slowly. All the planets move rapidly around the sun. Although the sun has 99% of the mass of the solar system, it has only 2% of the angular momentum. This is directly opposite to the pattern predicted for the nebular hypothesis, i.e. the Big Bang. They've known this for a long time, folks. For 45 years they've known the Big Bang violates the laws of conservation of angular momentum. The ultimate origin of the solar system's angular momentum remains obscure. Hovind translation. We don't understand how it worked. Okay. One of the detailed problems is then to explain how the sun itself acquires 99.9% of the mass, but only 2% of the angular momentum. They've known that for 54 years. Venus, Uranus, and possibly Pluto rotate backwards. Oh, now we got a problem. Because if this all came from a dot spinning, everything should be spinning the same way. All 8 planets in the solar system orbit the sun in the direction that the sun is rotating, which is counterclockwise when viewed from the sun's north pole. 6 of the planets also rotate about their axis in the same direction. The exceptions, retrograde rotation, Venus and Uranus. They decided not to call Pluto a planet anymore. I still think you're a planet, Pluto. Okay, I don't care. We have some theories about how the spin of Venus may have been pulled into sync with Earth. Unfortunately, they don't really work. Not yet. Well, Mr. Grinspoon, keep getting your theories, okay? We haven't exactly learned to decipher the clues yet. The theory of the origin of planetary rotation is currently slightly confused. It seems we will never have a theory predicting in detail how a solar system arises from a disk. Keep searching. As long as it doesn't include God, you'll keep getting government grants for that. If you accrete planets, that means collect them together to make a planet, from a uniform disk of planetesimals, prograde motion can't be explained. You got retrograde and prograde, backwards and forwards. The simulated bombardment leaves a growing planet spinning once a week at most, not once a day. New spin on the planet, Science magazine. See, this angular momentum is a serious problem for you evolutionists and your dumb, retarded Big Bang. See, if a firecracker placed in a stationary object explodes, the fragments will all fly off in straight away from where the firecracker was, okay? If the initial object was spinning, oh, now we got a different situation. All the fragments that fly off will be spinning in the same direction as the original object was spinning. Okay? Conservation of angular momentum. So, if the initial object was not spinning, all the fragments fly off will not spin, but will fly off in different vectors in straight lines. Okay. So, since everything in the universe, from atoms to galaxies, is spinning, the initial object that banged had to be spinning. That's the logical conclusion. So everything should be spinning the same way. And especially when you think about all flying off from one point, there's no way they're going to bang into anything else out there. The fragments get further apart. They don't get closer together. It had to be spinning fast to contain all the angular momentum of all the objects in the universe. Whew. That was moving on, guys. I mean, see, as a spinning object expands, it slows down. So you take the total mass of all the atoms, all the moons, all the planets, all the stars, all the galaxies in the universe, extrapolate back and put all that energy into that dot. Are you certifiably insane? Do you who taught you that? And why on earth were you dumb enough to believe it? The Big Bang Theory is dumb, completely dumb. No science behind it at all. Total angular momentum of the Earth about the sun is a whole lot of energy. What would it take to get this planet, get out there, get a bunch of guys, start pushing it, let's get it going around the sun. Let's see, it spins 1,038 miles an hour at the equator. I forgot to remember how fast it goes around the sun, but pretty fast, okay? 93 million miles is the radius. Let's see, pi times diameter, 93 times 2 times 3.14159,263, and you'll get how fast it goes, how far it is in a year, then divide that by 365.2422, and you'll get how fast, and then divide that by 24. You see how many miles per hour? It's a little over, it's a bunch, okay, it's a lot. All right, do the math, okay. They have a thing in the Olympics they call the hammer throw. It doesn't look like a hammer to me, it looks like a ball, but they swing that around, and some of the countries use, I would not dress like that for any Olympics anywhere, okay? Anyway, so they swing this thing around. Now, the singularity had to contain all the matter, this dot that exploded, had to have all the matter, all the heat, and all the spin of all the objects in the universe today. These drawings that they make for the textbooks are inaccurate. They show an explosion and everything going one way, leading to man. No, 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 no. It should be exploding in all directions, right? See, is momentum conserved in an explosion? Yeah. But every second after the Big Bang, the particles would have less gravitational attraction for each other. Think about it now. You want me to believe these particles changed their linear momentum to angular momentum and began forming hundreds of perfect spheres and began circling their planet and all the stars and all the galaxies. This happened trillions, quadrillions, quintillions, sextillion, septillion, octillion, novillion, decillion, vigintillion, centillion, whole bunch of times, okay? So in 1 billion years, these particles ejected by the Big Bang, traveling faster than the speed of light, would be 5.8 sextillion miles away from where they started, and getting further away with every nanosecond. But they still had enough gravitational attraction to get together. Is that what you believe? And you believe we should teach that to kids? So where did the spin for every atom and planet in the galaxy come from? Either the dot was spinning, or they all picked up the spin later. If the dot was spinning, why doesn't everything spin the same way? If they picked up the spin later, how come all of them picked up the spin? Stars first appear, galaxies appear, okay. All the galaxies do not spin in the same direction. Really? What is this? Science Daily, pbs.org, sci-news.com, sciencefocus.com, universetoday.com. These are the references at the bottom. They don't, all the galaxies, I'm blowing up the article here for you, all the galaxies do not spin the same direction. Now let's see. So these links suggest the early universe could have been spinning. So they're deciding the original dot was spinning. Well, then you got the other problem. Why isn't everything spinning the same way? The direction in which galaxies spin depends upon their mass. Spin probably came about as a result of tidal interactions between different gas clouds as solar systems or galaxies were forming. Don't step in this stuff, folks. This is definitely from the Devaka, okay, the cow, yeah. Do all galaxies spin in the same direction? Wow. If all galaxies form from the same cloud of spinning material, we might expect their spin directions to be the same. Yeah, you would, if you knew some physics, okay. This is similar to the planets of the solar system. But look at that, Venus and Uranus spin backwards. Probably spinning backwards because of impacts, large impacts. Something hit them. Okay, if everything is spreading out, how can something hit them? And don't you think if something hit Uranus or Venus hard enough to turn it spinning around the other way, don't you think that would leave like a dent? Or break it apart into a bazillion pieces? I don't know how people believe this. Let's see. All right. If we look into the universe, there can be areas that appear to have preferential direction for galaxy rotation. But averaged over the whole universe, their spin direction is actually random. A study of 200,000 galaxies at taxpayer expense, I added that part, reveals the entire universe might have been spinning in one direction early on. Almost everything in the universe spins. Planets rotate on their axis, stars spin around the black holes, galaxies spin in great spiral structures. But what about the universe as a whole? Structures rotate because of a property known as angular momentum. Angular momentum is a measure of mass and rotation. It is conserved physical property. One of its characteristics, when the mass moves closer together, it spins faster to keep angular momentum constant. You see this in figure skaters when they leap into the air and pull their limbs close to their body. Galaxies, stars, planets all form from great clouds of cosmic gas and dust. As gravity caused these clouds to collapse, the smallest bit of rotation was amplified. So it's natural that they all spin, but on a cosmic scale, things are different. It's generally thought the universe is homogeneous and isotropic. This means that on average, matter should be evenly spread out, and the total angular momentum of the cosmos should be about zero. If that's true, then the rotation of galaxies should be random. In any region of space we look, about half should be spinning clockwise and half counterclockwise. So let me try to understand your atheist position. Zillions of stars formed themselves from particles ejected by the Big Bang 13.772 and now about 18 years ago, since I've been teaching on it. These particles were getting further and further apart with every passing nanosecond, since they were accelerating faster than the speed of light. They all spin, but some spin backwards. Why? After billions of years of them getting further apart, the particles were attracted to each other by gravity. Really? And changed their linear motion to angular motion and pulled themselves into a near-perfect orbit and sphere in orbit. At the same time, each changed their linear motion to circular and began spinning. They all slowed down from their linear motion at 670 million miles an hour to change to spinning stars and galaxies. And they've maintained their nice spiral shapes for 13.772,000,018 billion years. Okay. Somehow, in violation of the laws of conservation of angular momentum, Venus, Uranus, and possibly Pluto spin backwards. The planet Venus spins in the opposite direction from other planets. Well, how come? Why do Venus and Uranus rotate in the opposite direction? Venus and Uranus likely formed in the same way as the other planets, so how did they end up rotating the opposite way? Scientists have posted more than a few theories. One of them is crashing. Something crashed into it. Some believe these two planets suffered significant collisions, very close to planetary birth. As soon as the planet got born, the doctor smacked it, got it going the other way. Something incredibly large, like a planet, hit it, which either caused the initial spinning or reversed it. Or orbital resistance. Let's see. Others believe it has to do with the process called orbital resistance. This is when the orbital period of one planet is a multitude of another planet's orbital period, how long it takes to orbit the sun. For example, Pluto has an orbital period of 248 years. It takes Pluto 248 years to go around the sun. Neptune is 6,190 years. Whoa, long, it's not in a hurry. That means for every 2 orbits of Pluto, Neptune completes 3. The last theory has to do with the sun's magnetic field. I just copied this straight out of the book, okay? As the planet grows, it's thought to be surrounded by a disk of dust and gas. As the planet grows, it starts to spin faster and faster. No, guys, as the planet grows, it would spin slower and slower. Eventually, the sun's magnetic field interacts with the disk and caused it to slow down and reverse the direction. Oh, the magnetic field reversed it. Those are your theories. You really expect me to believe that? Why don't you give a third option, guys? The only way you can solve this is something hit these planets to reverse them, or there's orbital resistance. There's a third option. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and he did it that way on purpose just to make your Big Bang Theory look stupid. Did a good job, God. Good job. It looks stupid. The Lord's not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness. He's long-suffering, not willing that any should perish. The Lord would like you to get saved. The day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. There it is. The Big Bang is in the Bible. But it comes at the end, not at the beginning. The elements shall melt with a fervent heat, and all go into a swirling dot. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. The universe did not start with a big bang, but it will end with one. I suggest you get ready. How about you? You ready for that? Do moons revolve in the same direction as the planets? Not in all cases. Jupiter's got some that go backwards. Interesting. Neptune's largest moon, Triton, orbits backwards. Wow. From the other moons. Well, how did that happen? It's orbiting backwards, not just spinning backwards, it's going backwards. Most moons orbit in the direction their planet spins. Those that aren't are assumed to have been captured. Or maybe God did it that way just to make it look stupid for you evolutionists. Triton, the largest of Neptune's moons, is unusual because it's the only large moon in our solar system that orbits the opposite direction from the planet's rotation. Why? I wish you guys would stop and think about what you believe. They just don't get it. Brother, I've been trying for a long time to get these folks to stop and think. What on earth? Who taught you this stuff anyway? Let me get up to one more thought here. 659, there we go. Okay, we'll quit. 659, enter. Along with antimatter and dark matter, we've recently discovered the existence of doesn't matter, which appears to have no effect on the universe whatsoever. That doesn't matter. Okay. It's appointed unto man once to die. After this, the judgment. I'd bet $5 you're going to die, and you're going to be judged by God. He brought them out, said, Sirs, what must I do to be saved? They said, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and thou shalt be saved. Read Acts chapter 16. Hey, if you died today, where would you go? Smoking or non-smoking? It's your choice. God's not willing that any should perish. He'd like you to come to heaven. But if you don't want to go, okay. But you're going to be dead one day. Today's a good day to be sure you're saved. Especially if you come visit Alabama. Have you seen the way they drive in Alabama? Have you ridden with me? I drive by Braille. Yeah, when you feel the bumps on this side, you go this way. You feel the bumps here, you come back. And a humanist, a person who believes man is God. They did not like to retain God in their knowledge. God gave them over to a reprobate mind. God gave up on some of you. Do humanists believe in a supreme being? Emphatically, yes. That supreme being is man. Whoa. Humanists have no knowledge of any being more supreme. I agree, you don't have any knowledge, but there is one. Okay? The turning point in history would be the moment that man becomes aware that the only God of man is man himself. Some people think, I'm God. I'm God. Well, Hitler got a bunch of people to believe him, didn't he? I'm God. I'm God. I'm God. Hey, I'm God over here. Look at everybody. Hey, Gabriel, come here and listen to this. George Wald, Nobel Prize winner. I will not accept that, that's the creation idea, because I do not want to believe in God. Therefore, I choose to believe in that which I know is scientifically impossible. Spontaneous generation arising to evolution. We no longer feel ourselves to be guests in someone else's home, like God's world, and therefore obliged to make our behavior conform with a set of pre-existing cosmic rules, like the 10 Commandments. It is our creation now. We make the rules. We establish the parameters of reality. We create the world. And because we do, we no longer feel beholden to outside forces. We no longer have to justify our behavior. We are now the architects of the universe. We are responsible to nothing outside ourselves. So we are the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. This is the attitude they have. I'm serious. We take the side of science in spite of the patent absurdity of some of its constructs. Because we have a prior commitment, a commitment to materialism. No, materialism is an absolute. We will not allow a divine foot in the door. Okay, Richard, we'll see how that works for you. See, if evolution is true, the question is very simple. Who owns the world? Who makes the rules? How do we decide right from wrong? I ask atheists all the time. How do you decide right from wrong? Would it be wrong to go kill your neighbor's baby and eat it? Doesn't the lion do that to the zebra all the time? If man is God, and that's what humanism means, then the strongest make the rules. Might makes right. There's no absolute standard. I had an atheist tell me one time, there are no absolutes. I said, are you absolutely sure? No absolutes. Yep, there is. There's a God. You're going to answer to him one day. Okay, who makes the rules? I think God does. Any questions or comments? We're not sure when we're going to go live, folks. We're going to get internet here soon. Pray. Speed them up. Anything else? Sorry. Boot camp coming up soon, a couple weeks. Come on down. We're going to have some come in by Skype and some come in and stay here and speak. So it's going to be a very interesting boot camp. Lots to learn. Is Taylor going to be able to do her thing?
Yep.
That's going to be awesome. I did a program today with how old's that kid? 12 years old? Yeah. All of you kids, start your own channel. Interview me if you want. I'll come on your channel, help you boost it up. Say, pick one topic you like the age of the earth or dinosaurs, or specialize in one thing at first before you branch out into everything there is to learn, and start a channel. How evolution is stupid. I don't know. Pick a name for it. See you tomorrow.